There are certain sounds that never belong in the middle of the night. A key in the wrong lock, a floorboard under the bed, the soft electronic click of a television turning on in a dark room. Some sounds are not loud enough to startle you. They are worse than that, they are familiar, and when something familiar happens at the wrong hour, your body understands the danger before your mind does. That is how this started. Not with a scream, not with broken glass, not with footsteps in the hallway outside my apartment. Just with my TV turning on at 2:16 in the morning. I live alone, and my apartment is small enough that every room exists in my head even when the lights are off. Bed, closet, window, bedroom door, hallway, bathroom, everything has a place, everything makes sense, or at least it did before that night. The TV hangs on the wall across from my bed, black screen, no standby light, no sleep mode. I always turn it fully off before I go to sleep. I remember doing that night because I had stood there with the remote in my hand, watched the screen go black, and waited that extra second people wait when they need something to feel finished. So when the room lit up pale blue, I woke immediately, not all at once, not clearly, but enough to know that something had changed. I opened my eyes and saw the TV glowing across the room. For 1 second I thought I had left it on by mistake. That would have been normal. Then I sat up because it was not showing a channel. It was not showing static. It was not showing a menu. It was showing my bedroom. Not a bedroom. My bedroom. The one I was sitting in. Same curtains, same cheap closet door, same laundry chair in the corner, same crack in the ceiling paint above the window. And the first thing I understood was that the angle was wrong. The image looked down into the room from high above the closet, tilted slightly like a security camera had been bolted into a corner of the ceiling. But I do not own any cameras, not in the bedroom, not anywhere. I just stared at the screen, and on the screen I was still asleep, lying in bed under the blanket, facing the wall, completely still, while I was already awake, sitting up and staring back at it. That is the sentence that still sounds stupid when I say it aloud. But it is exactly what I saw. My television was showing me asleep in my own room from a place that does not exist. I looked from the screen to the real room, then back again, and the version of me on the screen moved slowly. He rolled onto his back, opened his eyes, and looked toward the far corner near the window, not at the TV, not at the bed, at the corner. And a second later, before I could even decide whether to breathe, the closet door on the TV opened a crack. In real life it was still shut. I checked, actually turned my head and checked it, closed, flat, motionless. Then back on the screen, the crack in the closet widened, and something inside the darkness moved behind the hanging shirts, not enough to reveal shape, just enough to tell me there was depth back there where there should only have been fabric. I got out of bed then, slowly, not to investigate, mostly because staying under the blanket suddenly felt pathetic, like I had already been seen and was pretending I had not. I stood between the bed and the TV, and the screen angle changed. Not cut. Changed. Now it was looking out from inside the closet, between hanging clothes, past jacket sleeves and shirt collars, straight at my room, and from that angle I could see the back of myself standing in front of the television. But I could also still see someone in the bed, under the blanket, in my place. The standing version of me on the screen turned toward the bed, and the version under the blanket sat up. Slowly. Wrongly. Not like someone waking up, like someone remembering how. I stepped back so fast my heel hit the bed frame, because the thing on the bed did not move like me. It moved like an imitation that had studied the timing but not the weight. And before I could decide whether to run or smash the screen, the TV speakers hissed softly. Then my own voice came through them, quiet, strained, close to the mic. Don't look under the bed. That froze me harder than anything I had seen so far, because a stranger's voice can scare you. Your own voice instructing you from a dead television does something worse. It makes the room feel like it has already happened without you. I did not look under the bed. I did exactly the opposite. I backed toward the bedroom door, keeping my eyes on the screen, and the image changed again. Now the viewpoint was low, flat to the floor, from underneath the bed, looking outward at my bare feet, at the closet, at the wall, at the TV glow, and on the screen something thin and dark moved just beyond the mattress slats, not fully visible, just too many joints bending where a person should not bend. I stopped breathing. The speakers whispered again in my voice, more urgent this time. It changes places when you look away. That sentence made me look away immediately, because panic always makes you do the one thing that sounds most survivable. I looked over my shoulder at the real bedroom door, then back at the screen, and the thing under the bed was gone. Not hidden. Gone. The screen changed again, now from the hallway outside my bedroom, looking in through my half-open door, and on the TV I saw myself standing inside the room, facing the closet, while behind that screen version of me the bed sheets lifted slightly, as if something had just slid off the mattress onto the floor. I don't remember choosing to move. I remember being suddenly at the TV, jamming the side power button with my thumb. Nothing happened. I ripped the plug from the wall, the screen went black, and for one glorious half-second I thought that was it. Finished over broken device, sleep confusion, panic, whatever name I wanted to give it later. Then the screen came back on, still unplugged, still glowing, still showing my room, this time from directly above me. A perfect top-down angle from the ceiling center. An angle that cannot exist unless the plaster itself is looking down. I was on that screen too, standing beneath it, face white, mouth slightly open. Exactly where I was. In real life, and a second later, the screen version of me turned toward the closet. I didn't. Not yet. Then TV me lifted one shaking hand and pointed. And in real life, the closet latch clicked. Once. Softly. Not opening, just pressure from inside. The TV speakers whispered again. Same voice, same throat, same exhausted breath behind the words. Don't let it learn your face in the dark. I don't know why that made sense to me, but it did. I killed the bedroom lamp, then the hall light, then stood in darkness with only the TV casting that dead blue glow over the room. On the screen, the room darkened too. But again, it darkened a moment later, just late enough to prove the screen was ahead, not mirroring, not replaying, showing me the next room before the real one arrived. And in the darkened TV room, something moved out from behind the bed. Not fast, not sudden, just enough to. Let me understand the proportions: too tall, head bent too low, arms too long, shoulders arranged like someone trying to build a person from memory. I stepped backward toward the door, the TV changed again. Now it was in the upper corner of my room near the door frame, looking down at me from where no device had ever been, and on the screen version of the room I saw myself looking at the closet, saw the closet door opening a fraction, saw the inside darkness deepen, and then saw something else. A shape in the bedroom mirror behind the bed, standing exactly where I could not see if I kept facing forward. I turned in real life, nothing there, turned back to the TV, and now the thing in the mirror was closer, just a shoulder, part of a head, too close to the edge of the frame. The speakers whispered again, almost tender this time. It only keeps the angles that work. I wish I could explain why that sentence frightened me more than the shape. Maybe because it sounded like process, not malice, and process is colder. Process means repetition. Means this room had become useful for something. I ran then, not to leave the apartment, just to leave the bedroom. I made it into the hallway and nearly slipped on the rug. The TV still glowed behind me in the dark room. And from inside that room, through the speakers, my own voice called my name once, softly, the way someone does when they do not want to wake the neighbors. I did not turn back. I made it to the front door and fumbled with the lock, hands shaking hard enough that I missed the deadbolt twice. Then the TV went silent. Not off. Silent. And in that silence, from behind me down the hallway, I heard footsteps. My footsteps. My exact rhythm, my exact weight, approaching from the bedroom at the same pace I would have walked if I had changed my mind and followed myself out. I opened the apartment door and stumbled into the corridor outside. Cold hall light, painted walls, real building air. I should have kept going. I should have taken the elevator or the stairs or run barefoot into the street if that was what it took. But I made the mistake. I looked back, through my open apartment door, past the living room. Darkness, I could still see the TV glowing in the bedroom, and on it, from an impossible camera angle high above the corridor outside my apartment, I saw myself standing in the doorway, looking back in, the exact same thing I was doing in that moment, but on the screen version, something was standing directly behind me in the corridor. Close enough to touch. The real corridor behind me was empty. I turned anyway, nothing there, and when I looked back toward the apartment, the front door swung shut on its own. Not slammed, just closed. Softly, like someone inside had decided the scene was complete. I spent the rest of the night in the lobby, and when maintenance came up with me after sunrise, everything was normal, TV unplugged, screen black, bedroom empty, closet closed, no broken lock, no sign anyone had been there, nothing disturbed, nothing stolen. Nothing except the feeling that the room had already been used for something while I was still in it. That should have been the end. It wasn't, because later that afternoon, when I took the TV off the wall to throw it away, there was writing behind the mount in the dust. Fresh writing, for words. Now stop looking up. I moved out 2 days later. New building, new room, no television on the wall. For a while nothing happened. Then last week I woke in the middle of the night because the ceiling above my bed was glowing blue. Not the wall, the ceiling, moving lights, silent, flickering, as if something in the corner above the closet was still trying to show me the room from where it learned me first.